these are the frequencies. So you can see here at the moment, we've just finished alpha rhythm relaxation to achieve a state of peace, essential oil, blue tansy, general balancing, peace, reassuring blend, essential oil, program of peace, sleep, restorative, and next then after that the essential oil of abundance, confidence, self-esteem, energy, miraculous windfall of money. Essential oils, we've got acceptance, abundance, forgiveness, frankincense, gathering, humility, inspiration, frankincense. We've got the 7 chakras, then moving with the aura, we've got all of the chakras to come. There we go. And then we got them again in a different sort of format, slightly different energies, frequencies. We got the essential oil, aroma of life, minerals, iodine. And we got the planets, Sun and Venus, colloidal gold, malachite green, lucky bamboo. And so this is the program, and then the reality engineering. So this is part of the manifestation program that I have set up for the manifestation protocol that we'll be doing as phase 2 of the quantum entanglement remote experiment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check my Facebook page. You'll see the links all over it if you're watching this in real time. Now, the other idea I had was so this is where I've been, this is the program that I was kind of loading up. But one of the other ideas I've had is, let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Let's have a look. Is linking this to the breakthrough sessions and adding another dimension to the breakthrough session. So in the breakthrough session, they're 1-day sessions. I've been doing those since October 2000. They are amazing. And my intention with everything I do, with the whole thing about transformations, it was about being the catalyst. And then the ripple effect continues throughout the rest of your life. Hence my my logo since I started has been a water drop. And years later, I received an email from someone who had done a 1-day breakthrough session with me, and they wanted to introduce me to someone who was looking for an executive coach, and they recommended me to coach them. Great. They then said in the email, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to get in touch and drop you a line to say that the results of the breakthrough session that we did are still rippling throughout my entire life. And at that point, I was a bit like, hold on a minute, this feels like about 10 years since I worked with him. So I went back to my database, and sure enough, we had done a 1-day breakthrough session 10 years prior, and the results were still rippling throughout his entire life. And that for me was really fantastic, because it's like, oh my God, he has just personified and brought to life the vision that I'd had in the year 2000 of the transformation work being a catalyst that continues rippling throughout the rest of your life. And so with the breakthrough sessions, there are kind of 3-4 stage process. Step 1 is, okay, what's going on? We want to get to the root cause of whatever the challenge, the blockage is, etc. So we typically are going through a series of questions to help to unearth the root cause, the limiting beliefs, and really get a handle on what we call the negative emotions. So typically we're working with anger, sadness, fear, guilt, maybe anxiety, depending on what somebody's looking at. And we also look at the limiting beliefs. So these typically things like I'm not good enough, not worthy enough, not clever enough, not capable enough, don't come from the right background, that sort of thing. And we want to know what's the root cause, and also if there's any secondary gain that is entwined with that. The next phase, once you know what the issue is, it's all very well. I know people who can tell you chapter and verse what the problem is. That does not solve the problem necessarily. In fact, sometimes it can make it worse, because people get frustrated. They know what the issue is. They don't know what to do to solve it. So step 2 of the breakthrough session is, now we have the root cause and we know what we're dealing with. Let's do, I guess we call the intervention. So that's where we'll do the timeline therapy, for example, going back into the past to clear the old negative emotions, the anger, the sadness, fear, the guilt, and we might do that in this lifetime, past lives, ancestral genealogy, in terms of how you represent that in your mind. The next phase, having cleared the decks, is then getting specific about these limiting beliefs, clearing those as well, such that when you now get to that neutral point in space and you start thinking about what is it you actually want to create, and this is where we start putting in place those new neurological strategies. And then phase 4 is the future pacing and the goal setting, where we are now with that fresh perspective, having let go of the emotional baggage. We are putting those new beliefs and goals out into your future timeline and creating that wonderful catalytic ripple effect. So my thinking is great with what we've done with the remote experiment, where within 24 hours of starting the experiment, people are noticing the difference and the benefits and the improvements. Many people started with the improved sleep. I had someone who had the best night's sleep they've had in the last 3.5 years. And that was within the 7 days of, because everyone had 7 days. I had someone else who'd not been sleeping at all well for the last few weeks. On the first nights, we started on the Monday, so they emailed me on the Tuesday and said, I've had the best night's sleep I've had in ages. That's amazing. I had somebody else who had, you might have heard me if you've watched my videos, who had osteoporosis and hip problems. And by day 4, the limp was less pronounced, the pain was less pronounced, and they were walking up the stairs without having to use the handrail. And the following weekend, they were at a school fair with their grandchildren, and they did the Candy Dance. That's a song by Cameo. And they said they didn't just do the Candy Dance once, they then did the faster jungle version. And they sent me the video, and if they hadn't told me what they were wearing, I wouldn't have been able to pick them out, because everybody was moving to time. It's quite a fast dance, lots of hop, skipping, jumping, twisting, etc. Everyone was in beautiful synchronicity, including my client. That's just amazing. And so it's been that. I did a whole webinar on it. If you're watching this in real time, I did the webinar this week on Monday. Today's Wednesday. So that was amazing. So it's out there now. You can watch the replay video where I explain a bit about what we did, how we did it, but really it was focused on the results. And then starting phase 2 of that with the manifestation protocol and the radionics. So my idea with the breakthrough session is to be running frequencies that are in alignment with what you actually want to work on. So for example, I've just looked up anger. So we could be looking at anger and irritability, for example. It gives us the frequencies here. If somebody's saying, I feel it in the body and it's a pain in my chest and my chest gets tight, we could do that. We've also got some essential oils which are related to anger. What we got here, Citrus Fresh and Dreamcatcher. If people are saying it's about irritability, they get irritated by things, we can run the frequency for that. State of relaxation, if they want to relax more. So going through all of the emotions that people are talking about. Let me just look, what have we got for fear? That'll be interesting. Fear, fear, fear. So we've got a lot of back flower remedies. Anxiety, fear, fear control, fear feeling, frigidity, joint inflammation, overcoming fear, phobic disorders. Wow. Relaxation, solfeggio frequencies. I don't know what that is. What is that? From Dr. Richard Lloyd, formerly called World's Most 10. Okay, so some of them are not going to be completely relevant, but there are others where it's completely obvious what it is. So for example, confidence, self-esteem, energy, it's got a lot of frequencies in there, and this includes a number of things. So the flower remedies, self-confidence, fear one, control, feeling, frigid. So there's a lot. Wow, adrenals, energy, ATP, now that's a good one. Longevity, etc., fat metabolism, fatigue. Wow. So this one, and ginseng. Wow. Mouth, speech, creativity. Yeah, if you've got problems with the throat chakra, all that sort of stuff. So let's just say if I just ran that one, confidence and self-esteem, for somebody who was suffering from all of these things, and we run it in alignment with the breakthrough session, we could even run it before the breakthrough session. So by the time we come to do the work, we have softened things up or even resolved a lot of stuff. I'm thinking this could be a way to go. Let's see, because we also work on sadness, center of sadness. Okay, so we probably have to look at that in a bit more detail. And let's see what they got. Have they got anything for guilt? Yes, we have. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Actually, I was talking to someone today about the flower remedies. I don't use them, but I've heard good things about them from people who have. So again, if I, let's say, just took that flower remedy there, and it now contains the frequencies for all of these things. Oh, actually, I wonder if there's anything for self-esteem. Let me just see. No, they haven't. So sometimes you've got to be in terms of the way you look for things. It can be, oh wow. So whoa. So somebody's got anxiety. Good Lord, we got a lot going on there. A lot going on there. So that's the idea. I'm going to maybe part 2. So part 1 of the experiment was the quantum entanglement, and what we've been doing with the scalar energy, the Rife frequencies, the harmonics, the molecular, the Huna. So that was experiment 1. I'm thinking experiment number 2 would be using these remote frequencies specifically for what you're working on in the breakthrough session, and let's see the impact that it has there. So yeah, that could be really, really fascinating. And we can do the name imprinting because we can now do that much more easily with the radionics. We can also use the radionics for your goal setting, because if you watch the results video, I show you about the input, the output plate and how that works. The experiment that I did with the oregano oil, oh my God, that was hilarious. Not for my lips, but it was hilarious. So we can do it that way. And there's also the opportunity to do it with the molecular. So we have the RNA sample and we run the frequencies through your RNA with using the remote generator. So this is what I'm thinking of for part 2 of the remote experiment. If you would be up for it, let me know. It's a 1-day breakthrough session. So the breakthrough sessions are already amazing. I know that. And I'm just wondering, a bit like the reason I incorporated the Huna and access consciousness first of all as a modality, I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I introduced the Huna and access to my breakthrough session. Some of you might have seen the video. It's still on my website of Mark. I said I'm going to want to do an experiment. So back then I said, look, I'm going to do I don't know if it's going to work. So I'll do the breakthrough session for half price and I want to see what happens. And Mark was the volunteer. And not only did it work, we finished the breakthrough session in half the time. So when he came back for part 2, we didn't have anything to work on because everything he wanted to work on was resolved in the first 4 hours that we did. The breakthrough session is 8 hours. So it's like there's nothing else to do. And that's how we ended up doing the video, because he's telling about all these amazing things that have happened and the changes. And I said, you know what, Mark? I said, you fancy doing a testimonial video? And back in the day, we didn't have the sort of tech that we have now. So I used my teleseminar system. And we were sitting next to each other on the sofa, but we're getting so much feedback that he went into my back garden. I came into my office, so I'm interviewing him from my office, and he's in the garden. And I think we did another little shoot as well on the sofa. But that's how the testimonial came about, because we didn't have any work to do. Everything he wanted to work on had been resolved. So I'll look on my website and see if the video, I'm pretty sure it's still there, and somewhere around this video I'll put the link if you want to watch it. I'll also maybe put the link to Amana about speaking things into existence, and with the stuff I did with Amana, that was all over the telephone. So I think this could be very, very cool to experiment with. Oh look, memory and test taking. Oh my gosh, there could be experiment number 3 with photo reading. This is just so good. What we got here. So we got memory, taking good notes, correlating, utilizing notes. One of the most effective strategies for improving test and performance for those looking to improve their memory and anxiety before a test. Whoa, can you imagine? Somebody goes, hey, I want to do this. Like, yeah, sure, let's run the frequency for that. And do some Huna to power it up, and we're ready to rock and roll. Anyway, that's, I think, going to be experiment number 2. Probably work with 3 or 4 people, because the breakthrough sessions are pretty intense to run. They're full 1-day sessions. The way that I typically do them nowadays, because they're online, or when I first started I was doing them by telephone. Now of course we've got technology, webinar, all that sort of stuff. So we tend to block them, and we'll either do a series of 2-hour sessions, 4, maybe 5, depending, 2-hour sessions, or we might block it into 3 hours, or if somebody's really up for it, like, let's go, we'll do 2 4-hour sessions. There are times where somebody's like, let's just do this thing, and we just ramp through it in a day. Of course we have breaks and you go off for lunch and all the rest of it. So yeah, we can talk about how we stack the time. But yeah, I'm thinking next experiment, breakthrough session, specific frequencies, to support what we're releasing in the breakthrough session. We bring in the scalar, we bring in the Rife, we bring in the radionics, and let us see where we go from there. I think that will be pretty exciting. So if you're interested in doing a one-day breakthrough session and using all of this wonderful technology to supercharge it and really go deep and start rooting things out from kind of like almost like from the DNA level, then let me know. My best thing to do, oh, let's see. I'll probably put, where will I? I'm going to do this in phases. First off, I'll maybe contact the people who did the remote experiment, see if anyone wants to do it from there. If I think I've got a bit more capacity, I'll run it through the e-newsletter list, see if we've got anyone who wants to do it there also, and then I will put it out to the public. So if you go to my main website, I'll say it and I'll spell it. It's www.transformationstm.com. That's TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, F for Freddy, so FOR, M for mother, MATIONS, TM as in trademark.com, so transformationstm.com. When you land on the site, click the red What's New button, a panel slides out. That's the forthcoming event, so have a scroll through there. If you're not yet on my e-newsletter list and you want first dibs, or second dibs in this case, but normally when I launch something, it goes first to the e-newsletter list, plus you get your 10% off when I'm in pre-launch. Then when you're on that page, transformationstm.com, if you look top left, you'll see a box where you can sign up for my e-newsletter list. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to those of you who took part in the remote experiment. That was open to 6 people. If you haven't yet read the blog, check it out. I'll put the link somewhere around this video as well. The results were absolutely mind-blowing and amazing. And as I said, they started within 24 hours and everyone was remote. I have no idea where everyone lives. They're all over the world and getting stunning results. And all they had to do is tell me what they wanted to work on. That was the extent of their effort. And then I did all the work in the back end and they just enjoyed the results, which I think is amazing. And a real sort of next level in the way that we're working with energy, frequency, etc. And also giving it that wonderful Huna, H-U-N-A, the Huna boost. So if you're up for a one-day breakthrough session, adding in the frequency generators as well to next level what we're doing, ping me a message, let me know, and let's take it from there. Alrighty, I shall leave it there. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach and Rapid Transformation Specialist from transformationstm.com. Over and out. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, please feel free to share the link to this, share the link to the blog, the results, the webinar, etc. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you.